Are we ready to go? Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 4:31. Roll call. Aaron Ham.
Present.
Richard Lopez.
Present.
Tiffany Pickle. Present. Julio Valadez. Not present. And were there any comments for closed session items? Then we will adjourn to closed session at 4:31. Where'd Erin go? Did she get lost?
That's not Merced High School campus, so she doesn't know where she's at. Here is Ham. Where's she at?
Mr. Theodosio, can you check on Mrs. Ham, please?
Oh, never mind.
Forget it.
I think this is the reflection of the board president's way of,
There's some truth to that concept. I thought you got lost.
I kind of did.
Oh. Okay.
I talk too much. Are there any students here?
Okay, we ready? Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We will return to open session at 5:39. The board met in closed session and did take action, so I will repeat or read the following reporting out statement. In closed session tonight, the board took action to terminate a campus liaison official at Livingston High School. The roll call vote was as follows. Trustee Ham, aye. Trustee Lopez, aye. Trustee Pickle, aye. Trustee Valadez, absent. Moving on to item 5.03, action on student disciplinary case number 1. So we will take action on the recommendation to proceed with the expulsion.
I make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Second.
We'll call for the vote, please. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Invite everyone to please stand for the flag salute. Ready, begin.
Aye.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And we'll call for the vote, please.
Leslie, I'm an aye. I'm trying to get logged in.
I'm an aye also.
Is that up and going, Mrs. Warbeck? I'm an aye also.
Yes, it is.
Because it didn't pop up. Oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you.
We have 3 ayes. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we'll move on to the showcase. Livingston High School Ag Department with Mr. Jolly.
Good evening, Board President Pickle, Board Member Superintendent Peterson, Cabinet, and Mrs. Warback. My name is Chaz Jolly, Principal at Livingston High School, and it's my pleasure tonight to showcase the Livingston High School Agriculture Department. They've done a lot of great work and had a lot of opportunities and persisted and made a lot of success and some historic achievements last year as a department and as our school. So I would like to go ahead and have a video show highlighting the wonderful work our students have done.
Hello, we are Livingston FFA.
Let us take you through the past, present, and future of our chapter.
Let's start with some past accomplishments.
Our Ag Sales team placed 3rd in state finals. Our Farm Business Management team placed 3rd at state finals.
Our Dairy Products team placed 3rd at state finals.
Our chapter was a state finalist for the Website Award.
Our chapter was a state finalist for the Digital Year in Review.
30 members of our chapter showed their animals at the Merced County Fair. We collected over 600 canned goods and 1,000 toiletries, which we donated to the less fortunate. And now for some of our future plans this year.
Let's start off with our theme video.
Hi Livingston FFA! We hope you are just as excited about this year as we are.
The 2021-2022 chapter officer team spent a long time deciding on a theme that would embody Livingston FFA in the upcoming year.
We wanted to create a theme that would embrace our chapter's growth while celebrating our success.
We are so proud of all of our members and everything that they have accomplished, even during these difficult times.
We hope our members will inspire others to their fullest potential, even when we can't realize it within ourselves.
Members, we hope you keep our chapter theme in mind in and out of the classroom and use it to help motivate you each and every day.
We wanted our theme to show what we want out of this new school year, as we go back to our new normal.
Without further ado, your 2021-2022 chapter theme is...
Rooting growth, harvesting success.
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 With a theme like this, we are pushing to accomplish big things.
We are going to have 6 CDE teams.
Milk quality and dairy foods evaluation, ag mechanics, nursery landscape, floral, vet science, and ag sales.
We will have members going to leadership conferences.
For example, for the first time, we will have members attend the National Convention in Indianapolis.
As freshmen, we get to go to the Greenhand Leadership Conference to learn more about FFA.
I'm excited to go to the GLC conference to improve my leadership skills and make new friends.
As a chapter, we will continue to do and improve our traditions by rooting growth and harvesting success for all our members.
Thank you, board, for your support.
All right, awesome. So again, rooting growth and harvesting success. I'm really proud of the work they've done over the last few years, especially last year, to still be participating in as many programs and competing and also reaching levels that we hadn't ever reached before. Students in our ag department, the pathways we have available are agribusiness, ag mechanics, welding, agri-science, animal science, and ornamental horticulture. And I just would like to say a big thank you to our entire ag department, Mr. Anthony Drummond, who's our department chair, Danielle Buddy, Monica Larson, Grace Reeder, and Jose Perez, and also, of course, our students that made this possible. So I don't know if we're enough of us here to give a round of applause, but yeah, that'd be nice. So I don't know if you have any questions for them or ones I can take down and get back to you guys on. No?
Any questions?
This is the first year they're going to the conference, the convention.
The Indianapolis is the plan, yeah.
And they're excited. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're really excited.
Very cool.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jolly.
Thank you.
Mr. Jolly.
And I believe you're up again, Mr. Jolly. Principal's report.
Yeah, so mostly what I want to talk about today is just how the year has started off so positively. Students are connecting, students are happy to be at school, and they're engaging in what it means to be a student at Livingston High School, and so that's really exciting. We have, it was difficult to participate for some students last year, but, clubs survived, athletics survived, we still had participation, and I'm glad to talk about that today. So we have 39% of our students are actually enrolled in athletics. Normally we're around mid to high 40s. And so we're still happy about that. We're hoping to recruit as the year keeps going on. Hey guys, it's okay, we're here to play. Let's keep participating. We did Club Rush, which was a really amazing event, just showing all of the different clubs and activities for students to participate in. And so we keep track of that. We have about 239 kids that are actively participating in rosters. Again, we still have some clubs where they're still recruiting. We have some 232 that are in our service clubs or scholastic clubs. Performing arts, we have 105 students, so it's a really big thing to be connected to Livingston High School, and it's very exciting to see our numbers still growing strong. We have students again participating in Seal of Biliteracy, so that's coming up very soon. We had students from last year that actually as juniors already qualified, so we're excited that now they're going to be seniors and we'll get recognized at the end of the year. Instructionally, we focused on UDL. Today was our first cohort model meeting with teachers. So we have an instructional leadership team. We divide out and break into small groups with teachers, led by teachers. Today, and our focus right now at the beginning is engagement, so that piece of universal design for learning. And it was actually really awesome to see teachers were saying, here's how I do and use, these are the options you have, and true collaboration happening today. So it was very energetic and awesome, a great way to start the morning. As I said, we have athletics going strong. As we speak, we have water polo right now and volleyball playing. That's been great. And of course, football. Students are very excited about the opportunity to go watch football again. Last night we had our first home game, last week I should say. We also made that our back to school night, and that was a great event, great opportunity for parents to come see school. I have to give credit, of course, to Ms. Ballinger. It was her idea 2 years ago, so I love it. We continue to do that and, of course, grow and reflect and make it so that students and parents see, like, this is how awesome school is. Let's go and participate and be a part of it. I'd also just sort of wanted to highlight we did a quick survey today of students, and I asked just a few questions, what has been your greatest experience so far? And it was awesome to see so far that it was across the board. So having a really comprehensive program with lots of options and opportunities for students shows, they said, what was their greatest activities, or what was their greatest experience so far? Some said activities, some said athletics. Specifically, one kid said, I'm really glad that I won my first match this year already. Welding, there were a few people really excited because it was hard to do hands-on last year, and so to actually see their teachers start welding and showing them what that looks like in the class, they were very excited about that. Participating in the various clubs, going and watching the football game and being a part of that whole experience, seeing their teachers and meeting them in person. Some got to meet them last year, some knew them from before, but they hadn't gotten a chance to actually see them or connect again in person. So they actually specifically said that was a great thing. And of course, the opportunity to be social and hang out with their friends. In terms of challenges, probably the biggest one of all of the things the kids said was just about organizing and balancing life. So that's, a common theme, but it was interesting how specific they were. They said, well, and what I wanted to highlight as well was they said, well, I have a hard time with balancing, I have athletics, I have clubs, or just school in general, or maybe at home there's some things that are stressful. However, my follow-up question to that was, how did you overcome it? And so the overwhelming theme was, they're showing their own resilience and belief in themselves because they're saying, I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be. Or I reached out for help, I got tutoring, I talked to my teacher, I got clarification. So that's a beautiful thing that's what we're teaching students, to see that some already have those skills, and of course we want that for every single student. So that was a great thing to see. And then I asked, what is a place for some more support? So the top 3 choices were organization, planning, and strategies for coping with stress. And then the next runner-up was they actually wanted to get information, how do we have positive relationships? And so those things all go together with our implementation of Nurture Heart approach, also looking at strategically implementing our social emotional learning plan. So we're in the works on that, of course, but seeing that as things that kids are identifying themselves that are important to them only just validates what we're doing as a school, and of course as a district being supported so much by you guys. So those are kind of my big things. I didn't want to talk too much, but I can talk all day.
Good.
Any questions?
No. Thank you, Mr. Jolly.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Jolly, for, it's great to hear you're off to such a strong start.
Thank you very much. And a general shout out to my whole entire staff and our students. They're amazing.
All right, that brings us to public comment for items that are not on the agenda. We do have one speaker card. I'd like to invite Priya Lockereddy to the podium.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Priya Lockereddy. I live in Merced. I have 2 children, actually 3, who go to Golden Valley. My 8th grader takes a math class at Golden Valley in the morning, and she's loving it. And then I'm not loving it as much because I have to drive back and forth, and now I'm back at work. So again, thank you all for everything you all have done for over the last 18 months. And I can say that you're a more united board, and I can see how your decisions are being affected, the decisions you make are being affected. And it's really nice to see kids smiling, even with their masks. I can see they're smiling, and they're happy, and they're healthy, and they're thriving. So it's credit to all of you here, and all the school staff, and counselors, and the teachers, and what you have done over the last 18 months has been amazing, so thank you. Really quickly, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the access to counselors, and I believe you did add more mental health counselors, but my daughter has 511 students in her class, her 10th grade class at Golden Valley. There's one counselor. Even if they saw one student a day, it wouldn't be enough time for all the counselors to visit this with the students. So I really think adding at least 2. I think the state recommends, or the counseling board recommends 250 per one counselor. So 500 is just a lot of work, and you can tell they're overworked. They're very good about answering phone calls and just emails, but right before school opens, when everybody wants to know what classes you're taking, it becomes really complicated because you don't know what classes you're taking. Aries is not updated, and the students are like, at least my students are like, I need to go, I need to, or when they have to change a class, it takes a while because, teachers are fielding like 1,000+ emails. So it's not fair to the counselors. So I really think if there's an investment to be made, that is the right place to make at this time. The other thing I've noticed at Golden Valley, again, great school. I even regret like trying to send my kids to other schools because it was fed to me for a long time when when my kids in middle school, elementary school, do not send your kids to Golden Valley. But my kids are loving it, and they love their teachers. Everyone is great. So my bad. I'm glad I listened to my kids, and again, they're thriving. So this idea that one school is better than the other school, somehow you have to work that. I think it's like a public image issue, and it's all on you to change that. So one of the things that I found out at Golden Valley is AP Chemistry is not even offered at Golden Valley, right? If my student wants to go into the healthcare industry or something with chemical engineering, not having access to AP Chemistry is, I guess, to me, it's not a good thing. So, and even AP Bio is offered every other year. And that's not fair because at Merced High, you have AP Bio and AP Chemistry, and 9th graders are taking AP Bio at Merced High. So there's inconsistencies in how rules are applied. When my son wanted to take AP Bio, they said he can't take it, but I said, Merced High, I know 2 kids, I know, like not 2, like 4 or 5 kids who took it. So I think it's really important when rules are made, they apply equitably across all schools in Merced. The last thing I want to say, and I'm running out of time, is the roundup thing that happens right in like January, February, March time. When my daughter was going to be a freshman, when she was in middle school, I went there, and I was telling, it was very chaotic. I didn't go to high school here, and I speak English very fluently, and I understand. I could go up and look up the A through G requirements, but I know a lot of my friends couldn't. So I think you also have to think about how to change that and make sure everybody who's there understands what's going on, understand what student success means, and what do A through G courses mean. I know it's a lot to ask, but I think it's really important to address all of our communities here who don't have access to English like I do, or who don't understand. I think it's really important that we address these concerns with those groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lockready. Employee Association comment period. Do we have any comments?
President Pickle, board members, Superintendent Peterson, and Cabinet. Like many folks, I often find myself going online through social media to see what others are thinking and saying. There is a meme out there, and forgive me, I don't remember where it started, that I saw somebody says that they really, really wish that they could live in precedented times. Just precedented times. I crave precedented times. I'm sure you crave them at all. For instance, I'm not supposed to be standing here before you right now. You see, I was elected vice president of the DTA. This job, this speech, usually is the job of the MUHSD president. Unfortunately, our MUHSD president, Tim Pust, was recently in an accident, so I am stepping up to take on some of his duties. This feels unprecedented. I'm not supposed to be standing here before you right now. I mean, I'm shaking. I'm very nervous. It's funny, I'm a teacher, I shouldn't be. But really, it should come to no surprise that I stepped up when I needed to. I'm not the only one. Across this district, our certificated staff have pitched in to substitute when subs could not be found. I want to take a moment to publicly acknowledge all of the certificated staff who have helped make sure that students do not experience additional disruptions in their school day, normal school days that they need and enjoy. We are glad to be back, and more glad that the students can be back. All of our certificated members have taken on extra beyond subbing. We are working to implement social emotional learning, working to teach the curriculum, working to keep our students safe with gentle reminders, so many gentle reminders about how to wear a mask properly, working to keep our quarantine students caught up during their absences. In order to make sure that our certificated staff does not burn out before the end of this unprecedented school year, we will need unprecedented levels of communication, collaboration, and support. We are all being asked to do more than ever, but our days are still the same 24 hours long. We know that there will be issues. I'm here standing before you with a simple request. When we, the MUHSD TA, bring issues to you, let's work together to solve them. Let's try to stave off potential teacher burnout. Let's use the collective power of both groups to make this unprecedented year work. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any comment from CSCA? No?
No comment.
Okay. Mrs. Ham, would you like to read the donations?
Merced Union High School District would like to thank the following donors: the Borba Family Trust, Ronald and Marcy Lundquist, and Susan Quinn, who all donated to Atwater High School student activities. And the following, who have all donated to the Vince Fusillo, did I pronounce that right? Is it Fusillo? Fusillo, okay. The Vince Fusillo Memorial Scholarship Fund. Michelle and Eric Geiling, James Arriaga, Nancy Brown, Sandra Fisher and Kristen Nathan, Thomas and Christina Murphy, Paula Whelan, Philip and Catherine Fabier, Richard and Joan Regalo, Windecker Inc., Richard Dodson, Barbara Horta, Karen Bandoni, Michael and Christina Vaz, Joe and Paulette Silvera, Mark and Marcia Sievert, Francis and William Schmidt, Jeff and Carolyn Tassi, Alan Wayne Jansen and Kathleen Marie Jansen, Marcia Lawson, Michael and Pamela Duarte, John and Terry Rogers, Joe and Kathleen Scoto, Jack and Carol Friesen, Ray and Lucille Milani, Kathy and John White, Alois and Jim Otis, Helen Mello, Claude Menke, Bruce and Linda Bear, Joseph and Charlotte Mello, Anna and Randy Geis, Pamela Brewer, Kim and Mark McCauley, Keith and Pamela McLean, Eruzione family, Donna Eruzione, Patty Tara, Greg and Christy Young, Philip and Jan Painter, Gallon and Melba Miyamoto, Kathy Fusillo, Joseph and Janice Tovar, Francis and David Lobb, Richard and Lori Havel, Tony and Elizete Machado, Mokhtiar and Peggy Leanne Sahota. Thank you again to all those who donated to the Vince Fusillo Memorial Scholarship Fund to Atwater High School. Also to Liberty Fellowship for the Everhart Memorial Scholarship and Castle Family Health Centers who donated to the Atwater High School Scholarship. Castle Family Health Centers also donated to the Buhat Colony High School Scholarship. Yosemite Farm Credit and County Bank donated to the El Capitan Ag Department. Liberty Fellowship to the Everhart Memorial Scholarship at Golden Valley High School. At Livingston High School, Robert and Kristen Weimer donated to the Walter Weimer Family Scholarship Fund. Andrew McGrath donated to the John Mitchell Memorial Scholarship. Livingston High School Annual Alumni Reunion, and the Kimberly Hawkins Gore to the Livingston High School Scholarship. At Merced High School, all donations were made towards the Sam and Lou Daly Memorial Scholarship Fund. Austin and Margie Drake, Sylvia Kopke M&A Drake, John and Karen Abate, Sam and May Ragusa, Betty Rogers, K.A. Amisbury, Nini Freitas, Teresa Reza, Doug and Gail Creighton, Rob and Sue Thompson, William and Dorothy Bazzini, Nancy Lowe's, Patricia Julin, Dale Wagner, Dorothy Hursky, Kathleen Peterson, Cunningham Ranch, DNN Worthley, Iris Mayer 2004 Trust, Rita and Louis Mondo, and Sherry Spunlove. Also, the Nuevo Latino Rotary Club of Winton donated toward the Merced Union High School District Winton Rotary Scholarship. Thank you to all who donated to Merced Union High School District, in particular to all of these various scholarship funds, and I apologize for any name I mispronounced.
You did a great job, Mrs. Sam. Thank you very much. And thank you to all the donors for your donations. Next, can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
I'll call for a vote then, please.
I have a question though, Mrs. Ham.
Yes, I'm sorry.
On 1215, and I'll direct it at Mr. Johnson. On the Carnegie support program here on the agenda, is that a core or supplemental program? And when are we looking to start this?
It is
Supplemental? Okay.
supplemental, and we'll start as soon as it's board approved.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
I have two questions also. One is on, let's see. Well, one is on, there's an application, I believe it's at Golden Valley High School. Livingston High School is applying for a speech and debate club, and Golden Valley High School for a pre-law club. And I think it's very exciting to see these students applying for these different clubs. I also think we now have speech and debate across all of our campuses, and I would like to recommend that we look into making this an A to G class like decathlon is. I think we have a lot of student interest and support, and I believe it could become a class. So I request that. And then, I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. It's an action agenda item that I have a question on.
We'll go ahead and call for the vote then, please. Motion carries 3-0. Credential waivers, Mrs. Ballinger.
Under the provisions from the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing, the Board of Trustees must take action on each request for a variable term waiver. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing requires that waivers be requested for individuals not fully credentialed in a specific area. The district's practice is not to request waivers except in areas where there is a shortage of available candidates. This year we are requesting one waiver in the area of Punjabi and 3 EL authorization waivers for our preliminary CTE credentialed teachers. Nirmal Kaur was offered a Punjabi position teaching at Livingston High School. She has her degree in history. Ms. Kaur is enrolled in National University, where she continues to take courses in pursuit of her teaching credential. The Punjabi assignment is in an area of shortage due to specialized need. Anna Sanchez, Matthew Smith, and Manuel Murillo were offered a position in our district to teach career technical education in the areas of health, science, and medical technology, agriculture, and construction trades. All three are enrolled in a credential program working towards obtaining their clear career technical education credential. Once they clear their credential, the EL authorization will be embedded in the credential. The superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees approve the waivers as submitted for the 21-22 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Can you call for the vote, please? Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have credential provisional internship permit. Mrs. Ballinger.
Trustees must take action on each request for provisional internship permit, which is called a PIP. Initial issuance of these documents began 7/1/05 and replaced emergency permits. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing requires a provisional internship permits be requested for individuals not fully credentialed in a specific area but meet certain criteria. The district's practice is to request PIPs where there is a shortage of available candidates that have not yet met subject matter competence but are pursuing a teaching credential. At this time, we are requesting one PIP in Sciences Biology. This is the only document this individual is eligible for. Ashley Chan Gonzalez obtained her Bachelor of Science degree from UC Merced in Chemical Sciences and is now enrolled in a credentialing program with Fresno Pacific, working towards obtaining her single subject credential in biology. The superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees approve the provisional internship permits as submitted for the 21-22 school year.
So moved.
Second it.
Call for the vote, please. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have board approval of certificated assignments. Mrs. Ballinger.
Education Code 44263 allows a certificated employee to teach out of his or her subject area of certification with approval of the Board of Trustees if the individual has completed 18 semester hours of coursework or 9 semester hours of upper division or graduate work in the subject to be taught. Education Code 44258.7 allows a certificated employee to teach out of his or her area of certification with approval of the Board of Trustees if the individual has completed 20 clock hours of first aid instruction appropriate to the specific sport being coached. The 69 teachers on your attached list meet the requirements of Education Codes 44263 and 44258.7. They are currently assigned to teach outside their areas of certification, and these teachers represent 20.5 FTEs. The superintendent recommends the approval of the teachers on the attached lists being assigned to teach out of their areas of certification in accordance with Education Codes 44263 and 44258.7.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Yeah,
I had quite a discussion with Superintendent Peterson about this today. I understand athletics, but the core subjects such as math, English, social science, those I think in particular math are 10 teachers without credentials, and I have no doubt that these are some of these are very exceptional teachers, but I wonder if there's something as a district that we can do to facilitate having these folks credentialed in the single subject that they're teaching.
We work on that regularly with them, and there's different options for them, and right now this is the one that's best for them. But many of them do go on to pursue, and a lot of the different credential offerings that don't meet the certification, they do have to take additional classes to renew that the next year.
Okay.
I think the question, Mrs. Ballinger, is are we making sure that happens? And every year, every employee in the Corps?
So things have changed over the last year or so. The systems start talking now, so we are able to look at that more closely and to follow up with those every teacher, every credential. My office goes through every teacher, every credential, their assignment in the master schedule, and follows up with them on what their plan is to get that.
And just want to be clear, they all have a credential. They are properly credentialed to teach. They may not have a extra credential in a particular class that we're asking them to teach this year. So, for example, a teacher that has an elementary credential and is able to teach 9th grade math, and they do that for a few years and they're successful, and we see that they're able to teach a math 2. And so you would have to okay that unless they, you know, took the upper level classes or passed the CSET.
And the teachers that are on that list, they have the units on their transcript, so they have enough units to qualify for that, and their credential just is in something else, but they still have the units to qualify to teach that course.
These are supplementary authorizations.
They just haven't gotten that supplementary authorization, so they qualify for the board authorization.
Yeah. So I think it's I mean, short of us just not approving these in the future, what is the motivation to get that, I think is what we were getting at.
Yeah, I think the issue is, you know, off of that list, Mrs. Ballinger, how many are we approving year after year and we're just not going to get there?
I know off this list, when I'm looking, some of them have like life credentials in something, so they probably are not motivated to go get something else. There's probably half of them on that list there.
And so that half we really can't do anything about, and if you'd like to talk about what would actually happen if you didn't approve it, we can do that at another meeting, but the other half we can motivate.
Yes.
Motivation's good.
Motivation's great.
For all of us, right?
All right, are there any other questions? Yeah, we'll call for the vote then, please. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have declaration of sufficient instructional materials for 2021-22 and public hearing. Dr. Aguilar.
Thank you, President Pickle. State funds distributed to LEAs for the purchase of instructional materials are governed by Education Code Sections 60420-60424 and Title V regulations. Education Code Section 60119 requires that local governing boards hold an annual public hearing and adopt a resolution certifying that each pupil in each school in the district has sufficient textbooks and/or instructional materials in each subject that are consistent with state content standards and reviewed and adopted by the local board of trustees for 9 through 12 schools. A review of current inventory and outstanding textbook orders shows that students will have sufficient textbooks and instructional materials under Education Code Section 60119 and the Williams Settlement legislation for the 2021-2022 school year. The superintendent recommends that the board adopt resolution number 03-21 regarding the sufficiency of instructional materials and conduct a public hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Aguilar. So we'll open the public hearing at 6:16. Are there any comments? No? No. Then I can go ahead and close. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:16. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Yeah, we'll call for the vote then, please. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have unaudited actuals for 2020-21, and I believe we have one public comment on that item.
Yes, I'll borrow Mr. Peterson's microphone. An email comment was submitted by Pamela Merritt Bennett, And she says, "Good evening, board members, district staff, and fellow community members. The community has become aware of the presence and importance of the various components of the LCAP portion of LCFF funding. From a community perspective, it would be fair and transparent to present the information about which the public is most interested and knowledgeable. Toward that end, I would like to request that the fiscal budget reports, i.e. unaudited and audited actuals and interim reports, include a listing of the LCFF base, concentration, and supplemental amounts. I would greatly appreciate if Dr. Weimer were to give a verbal report on these amounts tonight. Thank you."
Thank you, Mrs. Rohrbach. Thank you, Mrs. Bennett, for your comment. Okay, Dr. Weimer?
So we do have the 2020-2021 unaudited actuals for you. This is the PowerPoint that you've seen probably 100 times in its final version for last year. I will go through very quickly and then highlight a couple of spots, and I will be providing Ms. Bennett with the answer to her question when we get to the second slide here. So we do have the components of the LCFF, state aid, Education Protection Act, all of the different components. So the total LCFF funds, $125 million. And on to the next slide. So that $125 million on the top there, out of that $125 million, $25,445,091 are supplemental and concentration funds. So again, $25,445,091 out of that 125 are the supplemental and concentration funds, which are components of the LCAP plan. Of that, we do have $1,591,326 that is carrying over, and it will continue to be supplemental and concentration funds in this current budget year. So again, LCFF is $125 million. $25 million is supplemental concentration, and $1.5 million will be carrying over from last year to this year, and it will continue to be supplemental and concentration and used for those purposes in this budget year. So you do have the other items there, the federal income and the state income. If we go to the next slide. And I'm going to go past that one very quickly to the next one. On this one, one of the things that you'll notice is the ending balance, and I want to point out why that is what it is. If you look at the expenditures line, you'll see, the revenues line, excuse me. If you look at the revenue line, you'll see $30 million more this year than last year. Unfortunately, that is not ongoing money from increased attendance and enrollment. That are one-time dollars. So most of that money is not ongoing. And as you see on the expenditures, you only see a $13 million increase from the previous year. So there is remaining money out of those one-time funds that we received last year that will need to be spent this year or into the first part of next year. So those monies do fall to the bottom line. So that $30 million is not really $30 million. We do have to spend those funds within the timelines for the grant, most of which is this upcoming year. A few of them do go over a little bit into the following year, but for the ones that are in there now, most of that $30 million is carryover of those one-time funds, and they do have to be spent this year. So you will not see an ending balance at the end of this year that looks like that. Next slide. So again, you can see in the restricted and the other assigned, that's why there's such an increase. Those monies are carrying over because they are assigned to those grant programs, and they must be spent this year under those requirements. So you'll see normally we carry over about $2.4 million, and we're at 5.9 right now. And on the other assignments, you see the 7.6 million is up to 17.5. So between the two of those increases are the one-time monies that were not spent last year that are being spent this year on the different expanded learning plans and other plans that we've talked about. Moving on from there, we get into our other funds that are outside of the general fund. Go ahead and go to the next slide. The building fund is the bond money. So those are the items that we've been talking about in facilities that will be coming out of the bond money. Fund 43, The large amount of money on that particular one is the El Capitan settlement money. So a lot of that money has to go to fixing up El Capitan's facade once the lawsuits are completed and settled. Next. Special reserves, Fund 17. Large part of that is our 10% reserve for economic uncertainties. So about half of that, along with what's in the regular budget, is our 10% reserve. And this is the one, bond interest and redemption. This is the county office fund that we have to include on our books, but we really don't have control over that fund. I believe that's the last one, correct? Superintendent recommends the Board of Trustees accepts and approve the report of unaudited actuals for fiscal year 2020-2021.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Dr. Weimer, just to be clear, you've addressed Mrs. Bennett's concern, correct?
Yes, I talked about the supplemental concentration. I will actually email that to her too, so she has it in writing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Thank you, Dr. Weimer. We'll call for the vote then, please. Okay, motion carries 3-0. Our next item is interview candidates for provisional appointment to Trustee Area 4. We do have a seat that was vacated with the resignation of Trustee Swigert. We had 4 applicants for the position. One was unable to attend this evening, and one has withdrawn their application. We did agree to go ahead and proceed with the interviews with the candidates that we have before us. We are very pleased to have 2 candidates with us tonight, I believe, and very qualified. And do we have Amalie with us this evening? Okay. And do we have Mr. De Aora with us this evening?
I do not see him here, President Pickle.
Okay. Then we will go ahead and proceed with the interview of our candidate. If you'd like to come up to the stage, please, and we have a special seat for you. Hello. First of all, before we get started, I'd like to thank you very much for your interest in serving on the board. Thank you for your application, and thank you for being here this evening. Could you please pronounce your last name for me?
It's Jai Singha.
Jai Singha?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So just briefly, the process will include some questions from the board, and then upon concluding the interview, the item will be open for discussion, a motion, and a vote. Okay. Okay. So, shall I start with the first question, or okay? My question is a little long, so I'm gonna go slow, and I'll repeat anything that you need. Okay. There are several reasons why an individual might choose to serve on a school board, and there's a few of them that I'm going to mention. One of them would be that sometimes there's a certain agenda item that the individual wants fixed. It could be due to a personal experience, but that is what is motivating their interest. Another reason could be to enter the political field. The third reason is that the individual wants to give back to the community. They may have a positive opinion of public schools and want to give back in that respect. And a fourth reason would be that they wish to just serve to make the world a better place. So my question is, in which of these would you categorize yourself and why?
So having lived in Merced for 17 years now, as I mentioned in my application, I have 3 daughters who will be in the graduating classes of 2024, 2026, and 2028. So I know I'm going to be my husband and I and family will be part of the MUHSD for a very long time. And I do want to give back to the community. Don't plan to run for public office anytime soon. I think this is as public as it will get. I've always, I believe it's my civic duty to give back to the community. Almost 10 years ago, I was part of a literacy promotion campaign with Merced County to promote literacy in preschools and kindergartens. And there was a billboard, I was on the side of a bus, and in the newspaper campaign. And there began my journey in education, or supporting education, public education. My 3 daughters have gone to public schools. They're currently in Burbank Elementary, Hoover Middle School, and then my oldest is at El Capitan High School. I've volunteered all throughout, ever since they were little, and I'm currently Bambooster President at Hoover Middle School, a role that I really enjoy, music being another love of mine. And now I feel like our journey into high school has begun, and I'd really like to be part of their journey along with them. And when this opening came up, I thought it would be a good time to throw my name in the hat.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez.
Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for applying for this position. My question is, what would you do if you believed administrators had not provided you with accurate and complete information for making a decision?
So I'd always work with the information that was given. I'd also do a little bit of my own research. I think it's a lot of it is available to the public, but I would go make the best decision with the information that I am given.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Yam.
No, that's okay. So, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
How do you believe an effective school board can ensure opportunities for parents and community members exist to express their diverse range of views to inform board deliberations on important policy issues? Did you hear the first part of it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, sorry. How does an effective school board ensure opportunities for parents and community members exist to express their diverse range of views to inform board deliberations on important policy issues?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have forums where parents could participate. We saw a parent speak up earlier and talk about their concerns. I think having those forums readily available, making sure that parents are aware when meetings are held and those announcements go out so that they can participate. And if there are parents who have challenges and are not comfortable speaking up, making sure that there are liaisons who can help them through the process.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have one final question. What questions do you have for us to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
So first and foremost, I'd like to ask the question that you asked of me. What prompted you to run for school board? And and what has the process been like for you?
Excellent question. Similar, I had students in school, and I wanted to try to make a positive difference in their experience, as well as any students that came after them. They've both, since graduated. It's been for me, it's been a good process. It's been a good learning process. You do get to see everything that goes in, to the entire system, and have an appreciation for what goes into it and the work that everyone does. And you do have the ability to try to improve what we offer for our students and improve that outcome for them.
Thank you.
I think that was for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, for all of us? Yeah, so
Why not?
I'm currently superintendent principal at a small school district that feeds into the Mercer Union High School District. And so my rationale for being on this board is to ensure that I'm preparing my students, my K-8 students, as best as possible for the expectations of MUHSD. We have a lot to offer, and I want to be sure that I'm sending them the best product that I can, so that my kids will have the best opportunities to succeed once they leave the MUHSD doors.
I'm also, like you, a mom, a longtime Mercedian, and care passionately about this community. When I ran, at the time, I would have 8 consecutive years of high school students. I was frustrated, quite honestly, with some things with my daughter, who was a freshman at the time. And I felt like it was my turn to step up and take on a leadership role and figure out how to also be a voice for those who don't know how to speak up, help them, speak for them as well, and just try and do the best that we can for everyone in our community, especially our youth.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions for the board?
No, that will be it.
Well, thank you very much. And again, thank you for your interest, and thank you for your application, and thank you for being present for the interview.
Thank you, Superintendent and trustees. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we can open for discussion.
Well, I want to say, I mean, Amelie's application was very professional. The goal of the board was to find an applicant who can add strengths and fill in gaps that we have. And I think Amelie does that in a variety of ways. She brings obviously a different ethnic background to the board, which I think is very helpful in our very diverse community. She has younger children that are coming up through, and professionally manages a large plant here, oversees, I think, over 300 employees, and there's unions involved, and our district has a lot of employees, and we want to support everyone as best we can. So I think that the perspective there would be much appreciated as well.
Before there's a motion, I just want to point out that when we started this process, and actually I'm going to go back 2 years when Mr. Swigert applied, we had 4 or 5 really strong applicants then, and we chose John. And when we posted it this time, we had 4 very strong applicants. And I guess I'm saying this because the obvious in the meeting is most likely going to happen. And I want people to know that the board had a choice tonight to cancel this because one of the applicants couldn't be here. And that individual was very strong also, and they chose not to. And then we had a applicant cancel or pull out 2 hours ago, and then obviously we have a no-show. That in no way reduces the power of this applicant.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all saw that from the very beginning, and I just want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an excellent point. Thank you for making it. I also think that absenteeism has been a problem for our board, and we want to ensure we have someone who really wants to be here and is dedicated. And so, if we did not think that we had an excellent candidate before us, I know we'd be having a different kind of a discussion about perhaps having an election. But I would like to move that we make Amalie Jayasinghe, did I say it right? Okay, Amalie Jayasinghe, the new trustee for Area 4.
I second that motion.
Are there any other comments?
She joins us tonight, is that correct?
She will yes, but she needs to be sworn in, and we usually, why don't you go ahead and finish, and then I'll explain that.
Okay.
Okay. I would just also like to add, I agree with what Mrs. Ham said. I do think she's a very strong candidate, and we do look for someone that can bring in some strengths, perspectives that maybe we don't have. And I think there's a commitment there, and in the right reason for wanting to serve. So if there are no other comments, then we can go ahead and call for the vote. Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote. Or do wait, do we have, no, we have it on here, don't we? Yes. I can mark it for you. Okay, no, we can go ahead and just call for the vote then, Mrs. Rohrbach. Thank you. Okay, motion carries 3-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Amalie. We will meet in the next couple of days, and because we're at the end of the meeting now, I will swear you in privately in the office. Just in case anything comes up between now and October, we will do a public swearing in at the October meeting that you are welcome to invite your family to. So I will be contacting you.
Again, congratulations and welcome. Okay, next we have a superintendent's report. Mr. Peterson?
Thank you, President Pickle. Pull my mask down a little bit so I don't get fogged up. First, I'd like to welcome our newest member again. Congratulations. We have a very high-functioning board, and I'm very proud of that, and they always put students first. We work to provide a high-quality educational opportunities for all of our students, and we thank you for making the decision, because it was a decision on your part to join us. I want to thank the Livingston High School Ag Department for their presentation. It's a great example of one of the ways we provide a real-world experience for our students. Agriculture is at the heart of the Central Valley, and it makes all of us proud to have so many successful and award-winning FFA programs. I want to thank the sites that have held their back-to-school evenings and their parent resource nights already on their campuses. If you haven't yet had the opportunity to attend one, please watch the school's website and Parent Square for the dates and times of the next event. There are a lot of great programs and resources available for our families, and it's a great way to connect with our schools. Parent and family involvement is imperative to student success. Our sites are doing an excellent job, even in these times, these difficult times, providing access to parent resource nights, so thank you. In case you aren't aware, we are posting our latest COVID numbers on our website. This will helpfully quell some of the rumors and ease some of the anxiety going around when you see our positive cases go up at various sites. On the county call this morning, Public Health stated that they believe the worst is behind us, at least with this current variant. Please continue to promote the rapid testing being done at sites. We are doing everything we can to keep our students in school, but we need parents to give us that consent for rapid testing. It's an issue out there, and we need everybody's help. They can do this both online and simply filling out a hard copy and returning it to the school site. Last week, the creator of the Nurtured Heart approach, Howard Glasser, paid a visit to Yosemite High School. As you know, Yosemite High's success with the Nurtured Heart program is what led our district-wide implementation. He wanted to see how we are putting it into practice and meet the staff who are implementing it. I had a great conversation with him. He is extremely impressed with our district-wide rollout and how it has been infused in the daily operations of Yosemite High School. So thank you, Yosemite, for hosting that. It's an excellent morning. Thank you to all the staff for all of your efforts to ensuring our first month of school has been smooth and successful, at least as smooth as possible. Students and staff are happy to be back on campus, and I love the energy and the vibe out there. I just want to point something else out before I wrap it up. There's been a lot of frustration and sometimes chaos in our region at board meetings. But there hasn't been any here at MUHSD. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is right out there. You folks, our DTA partners, our CSEA partners, and our community at large. And I just want to say that and point it out because we haven't had a whole lot of problems, with public opinion around masks and various COVID issues or other issues. And I'm very thankful for that, and it's because of your leadership and this board right here, as I talked about, functioning well together. It starts with us, and it flows out to the rest of the school sites and the community. So thank you. That is all, President Pickle.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Next, we'll move on to board member communications, information, future agenda items. Mrs. Ham?
I just want to say thank you also to all of our staff and students for kicking off the start of the year and hanging in there as we all, favorite new word, pivot, right, with new guidelines on the regular. And I know there's been some frustrations, but I think everyone's, for the most part, held their heads high and handled things appropriately. So thank you for that. I know there have been some frustrations with students transferring into independent studies, and so I hope we're looking at how to make that a little bit easier for students as families make choices with new information available. I don't have a whole lot more to say, just thank you, Mrs. Lockeretti, for your comments this evening. Counseling is one of our goals for the superintendent. As part of our longer term plan that we absolutely need to be spending some more energy and resources on. And Amelie, welcome to the team. We're very excited to have you join us. Now you're stuck with us. I think we're all here for, Tiffany and I are here for another year, yeah? Mm-hmm. Richard, you too? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, the three of us have another year, so.
Thank you, Mrs. Ham. Mr. Lopez?
Just to start off, obviously, the functionality of this board, all starts from the guidance and the leadership of Mr. Peterson. So I think a lot of credit should be given your way as far as, being transparent with all of us and keeping us aware of everything that's going on across our learning communities, and thus makes us function that much better as a board. So thank you for your leadership. Mrs. Woodall, thank you for your comments tonight. I hope Mr. Puss is doing better. But I do appreciate your comments tonight as far as, this district working together with all of our unions to continue the work ahead of us, because obviously we're still undergoing some challenging times. And so I want us to continue that conversation. So thank you for that. Mrs. Johnson, I don't know how you do it, but I want to thank you for everything you're doing as far as this whole COVID thing and the conversations, frustrations that you must have on a daily basis, let alone Friday afternoons, you know, prior to game times as far as kids wanting to play or not play. But keep doing what you're doing. I'm sure parents are at some point will truly understand, you know, your rationale and the processes that you must, you know, that you have to follow as far as guidelines are concerned, and trying to keep us safe as well as their kids safe and other people's kids, you know, kids safe. And so I do appreciate, I'm sure we all appreciate the work that you've been putting into this. It's been a long year, and I don't know, almost 20 months, I believe, you know, that we've been going through this process, and every day it's changing. So I do appreciate, you know, all of you and your staff's work up behind this. So thank you.
I'm not sure that's ever happened before.
What's that?
An ovation.
Oh, there you
for a
go. Yeah,
cabinet
thank you,
member,
Ms.
huh?
Johnson. Yes. Let's see. A couple things on my end, and probably more directed toward Dr. Aguilar. As far as the LCAP revisions through the MCOE LCAP review team, I know Mr. Peterson gave me an outline as the metrics that they use to review our document. For the next board meeting, can we get some highlights as to, you know, differences that they noted between their recommendations, revisions, and the LCAP that we submitted, so that we, you know, just some highlights from it, you know, the things that they addressed that we should modify, you know, and bring to the forefront as far as being transparent with the community as to what those changes might be. Other than that, you know, let's continue working together and making the best decisions for MUHSD. And Mrs. Jaisinga, welcome once again to our district and to our board. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Just to reiterate some of what's been said, just thank you to my fellow board members, Superintendent Peterson, your cabinet, all the MUHSD staff for what you do every day. Keep coming back, what you provide for our students, and thank you to the students and the parents also for your patience with the situation that we have before us. And again, congratulations to our newest board member, and welcome. And with that, we will go ahead and adjourn at 6:49. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Record time.
That ovation. That's an ovation.
Who won? All right.